Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. In Watkins Glen this weekend, thousands will gather for this year's Cardboard Boat Regatta at the annual Waterfront Festival. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg is there with a preview of all the action.
Hundreds of rolls of duct tape and pieces of cardboard have been fashioned into boats that are ready to set sail around Seneca Harbor. After a 2-year break because of COVID, Watkins Glen will hold their Cardboard Boat Regatta. This year will mark the 27th anniversary of the event.
Being an outdoor event is great, especially right now. You know, people were ready to get out and about.
The regatta originated from a bet between the founders to see if a cardboard boat could actually float. After a successful test of the boat in a hotel swimming pool, the founders created the regatta as a fun event for the community. Around 50 boats will try to complete the course this year. Some teams will spend weeks building their boats. One former chair of the regatta told Big Fox that the team building aspect is one of their favorite parts of the event.
Behind me is the finish line. Sailors may get to this point, but that all depends on whether or not their boat stays afloat.
There are different prizes and awards to be won for both the sailors and their boats. You don't have to have a boat entered to enjoy the regatta. Thousands of people watch from the shore. The family-friendly event begins at 11 and ends around 8. Parking is free, and there will be live music to follow the regatta. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Watkins Glen.
For some, the price at the pump is inching down, but drivers in 10 states are experiencing their largest increase in 10 days. President Biden is eyeing climate change solutions, but critics say that's not the right route. Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
Americans saw a tiny bit of relief at the gas station this week, but with the national average still over $5, it's not enough to ease the pain at the pump.
I actually work for gas. I work for gas, I work for food.
This as pressure for President Biden to do something mounts. But at a virtual meeting with leaders from some of the world's biggest economies, the president focused on fighting the climate crisis, something the administration believes will ultimately bring down prices as opposed to drilling for more oil.
Russia's war is driving up prices of gas. Everybody knows that. Hurting people in all our countries. It's an immediate problem. We can remove the pain of volatile gas prices and reduce transportation emissions by putting more zero-emission cars on the road.
But according to a recent Fox poll, voters are not buying White House attempts to blame Russia's war for high gas prices, instead pointing to policy as the driving force by an 18-point margin. Critics say the president's plan to tackle the climate while bringing down gas prices is an impossible task.
The reason that we're in this mess is because for years and years and years, they have said no more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, period.
Americans could see some relief at the gas pump courtesy of the White House. The administration is reportedly weighing the idea of issuing gas rebate cards, but they stress no final decision has been made. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams announces a new initiative to expand and create a program to support the LGBTQ community. Adams says the initiative is the result of many roundtable conversations. This year, the city's Pride programming is also back and will have all in-person events for the first time since the start of the pandemic.
But in the meantime, we're telling people who are having fights across the entire country, come to New York. You know, this is a place where we open our arms and accept and embrace all who want to live here.
The new New York City Pride March will be held June 26th. Political analysts speculate abortions will most likely be banned in roughly half of the country if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. But as the nation waits for the High Court's ruling, pro-choice advocates are rushing to try and secure access to the procedure in case Roe is abolished. Jackie Ibanez has a closer look.
Abortion hurts women! We are on the cusp of a catastrophic ruling.
As pro-choice and pro-life advocates wait for the Supreme Court's decision on the fate of Roe v. Wade, abortion clinics across a growing number of states are now pausing new appointments for the procedure and relocating staff as they prepare for the landmark decision to most likely be abolished after last month's leaked draft opinion from the High Court indicated Roe's possible downfall.
We will fight until hell freezes over, and then we will fight on the ice.
It's igniting Democratic lawmakers to urge President Biden to take executive action.
He can improve access to medication abortion.
But as federal efforts appear to stall, some Democratic district attorneys in Republican-led states are signaling they may not uphold abortion bans if they're implemented. This comes as New York's governor recently passed new laws protecting abortion seekers and providers from legal punishment in the Empire State if Roe is overturned.
I refuse to go backwards.
Meanwhile, some anti-abortion advocates are pleading with other pro-life supporters to take a kinder approach to voicing their concerns.
Many of the mothers coming for the abortion appointment feel scared, they feel trapped. A lot of them feel pressured to be here. So we're providing them help and resources to broaden their choices.
But as the legal battle continues, abortions in the U.S. could be in greater demand. New data from the Guttmacher Institute shows the number of abortions increased from 2017 to 2020 after seeing previous decline. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
The decade-long legal battle of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange could be nearing its conclusion. The UK government has approved his extradition to the U.S. Greg Palcott has more.
We're going to fight this.
The wife of Julian Assange says the WikiLeaks founder will appeal an order extraditing him to the United States to face spying charges. British Home Secretary Priti Patel approved the extradition today, following an April British court ruling. In a statement, the Home Office writes, quote, "It is in our national interest to have a balanced, effective extradition relationship which prevents criminals evading justice and the UK becoming a haven for fugitives." Assange faces trial on more than a dozen charges of espionage and another of computer misuse. American prosecutors allege that in 2010, Assange helped former Army Private Chelsea Manning obtain and publish military records and classified diplomatic cables. Officials say the release of those documents put lives in danger.
This is a political case. It has to be resolved at the highest levels. Let's stop pretending. There is no legality. The only thing on display is illegality.
WikiLeaks condemned the extradition decision, calling it a dark day for press freedom. The organization writing, quote, "Foreign laws now determine the limits of press freedom in this country, and the journalism that won the industry's most prestigious prizes has been deemed an extraditable offense." Lawyers for Assange argue he is entitled to First Amendment protections. Assange has been in a London prison since 2019 after he was arrested for skipping bail during another legal challenge. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Stay with us. Your complete weekend forecast is next.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Sam Ryan. I want to show you the temperatures over the last 5 days because we have some big changes moving in for the remainder of the weekend. 81 on last Monday, 80 Tuesday, all the way up to 86 on Wednesday, and then Friday officially 81 degrees was our high temperature. Now, we've got a little trough moving in. That could result in a few spotty drips out there during the overnight and early tomorrow morning, and some extra cloud cover. So clouds will be on the increase. 57 degrees at midnight, 52 at 3 a.m., 49 at 6 a.m. Thanks to those winds diving down out of the northwest, driving that cooler weather around us. And look, we're one of the few places in the nation that's going to experience cold weather like this. Us and the Pacific Northwest are about the only two spots. We have a big ridge in between, and that's going to move over us heading into next week. So we're starting the morning off Saturday in the upper 40s, around 49 degrees here. And going through the afternoon, we'll slowly start to see not only the drips, spotty drips in the morning, and the morning cloud cover give way to more sunshine. High temperatures around 63 degrees only. Big, huge swing. So it's a chilly Saturday here in store for us. A little bit extra cloud cover. You may want that jacket heading out the door. We're going to have some gusty winds. The winds out of the northwest, gusty at times up to 35 miles per hour. And it's going to feel like fall out there, to be honest with you. Spotty morning drips, sunny afternoon and evening before the sun sets. And then it will be seasonably cool again for the Father's Day before things start to change up. So a few more showers and such moving in on Monday. I'll show you all that in just a second. That's the ridge starting to move back over us, kind of a warm front type of deal. But we get the clouds and the showers along with that. So here's sunrise Saturday, 5:30. Sunset occurs at 8:45. So we should see that sunset. Should be rather pleasant out there. It's a little chilly, and but still very manageable. So those clouds give way to more sunshine just after the noon hour. 61 degrees at 1 p.m. And those high temperatures around the region. You can see low 60s for just about everybody. So here's this trough, and this area of low pressure is spinning up here. So we've got this little trough swinging through. That's going to result in that cloud cover. But notice how it gives way to sunshine. This is the ridge, and that ridge shifts east going into next week, bringing all that heat along with it. So underneath that cloud cover, again, can't rule out a stray drip or two, but most of us staying pretty dry. If you have outdoor plans, maybe you got, I don't know, graduation party or something like that here Saturday, most of us are going to stay dry. Just make sure if you have a tent outside that you stake it. It's going to be breezy. The winds stay breezy Sunday again out of the northwest, so high temperatures once again upper 60s. And then the winds diminish. They start to shift direction. Monday, a chance of some showers and storms late, 74, and then we're back in the 80s heading in towards the middle of the week.
It's more important than ever to talk to children about the dangers of communicating with strangers online. In Chicago, the FBI says predators are posing as girls to target young boys in sextortion schemes. Casey Cronus has more.
The increase that we're seeing now is the number of complaints for what we're calling financially motivated sextortion.
The messages may seem legitimate, but behind that computer screen or cell phone, FBI officials are warning there could be a predator targeting your children, looking for cash.
You may not be, in fact, communicating with a 17-year-old girl.
Last year alone, there were 18,000 such incidents reported nationwide, and officials say it's on the rise. Predators are posing as young women or using sex trafficking victims to lure teen boys, often between the ages of 14 and 17, into engaging in sexually explicit activity on video. The predator then reveals they've screen recorded the encounter.
When the incident is over, there's like, now you're going to go to your mom's wallet and give me your credit card and give me the PIN number on the back, and I'm going to charge $1,000. If you don't, your church, your sport, your work, your school are all going to see what you just did. And here's some samples of what we have.
Retired Naperville police detective Rich Wistocki urges parents to monitor your kids' online activity.
It's so important for parents to monitor their kids' devices all the way up until they're 18.
And for teens to be cautious of what they share.
A group of kids ages 10 to 14 were accused of shoplifting at a department store in Oregon. Now, what makes the case unique? 2 of the teenagers were caught carrying airsoft guns. Paulina Aguilar spoke with police on how dangerous airsoft guns can be due to how closely they resemble a real weapon.
The incident happened at the Macy's here in Tigard, where a 14-year-old boy flashed an airsoft gun at an employee. That boy is now facing charges. You must be 18 years old to buy an airsoft gun, but they're easily accessible at sports stores or online. This airsoft gun, labeled Glock 19 on Amazon, goes for $58.49. Police recovered 2 firearms at the scene and later determined they were airsoft guns. The 2 juveniles carrying them, just 14 and 12 years old, and could have caused unnecessary harm.
He complied with the officers, but if he wouldn't have complied, there was potential that he could have been shot.
But it's difficult to tell a real gun from a fake one.
At this point, unless we contact them, we don't have any way of knowing if they're an actual airsoft gun or if it's a real gun.
If I pulled this off of someone, looks like a Glock 45 to me. There's no way for me to tell. So this is my department-issued Glock, and this is the Glock that was recovered yesterday.
But when it's up close and personal, you can tell all the difference.
This barrel from a real barrel, but the inside
is a little different.
The airsoft gun even has Glock markings.
The other way to tell also is the magazine that goes into the gun looks different. A real gun, you'll be able to see the bullets right here, and also there's a little canister right here.
Tigard Police says flashing a gun, whether it's real or not, is a Measure 11 crime in Oregon and can face prison time. All 4 kids were caught, and the 14-year-old boy is going to a juvenile detention center facing robbery charges. Tigard Police say if you encounter someone with a firearm, do not engage and call 911. And if your kids are interested in getting an airsoft gun and you have questions, contact your local police department. Reporting in Tigard, Pauline Aguilar, Fox 12 Oregon.
Researchers are diving deeper into marijuana's medicinal properties as they investigate the effects cannabis compounds can have on a range of neurological diseases. Jackie Abinez reports.
Cannabinoids, compounds found in cannabis plants, could lead to medical advances for some of the most damaging neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and even HIV, which can also cause nerve complications. According to researchers at Michigan State University, the key lies in the anti-inflammatory properties of some cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids are not a cure for these neurodegenerative diseases, but they can slow the progression because inflammation is a very large part of that condition.
But unlocking these benefits won't necessarily come from getting people high.
Cannabinoids work through 2 different types of receptors, CB1, which is highly expressed in the brain, and CB2, which is primarily expressed in peripheral tissues and very highly expressed in the immune system.
That's because the CB2 receptors trigger the anti-inflammatory responses, not the euphoric effects associated with CB1.
In patients that have HIV, they also experience systemic chronic inflammation, and some of those white blood cells are able to cross the blood-brain barrier and begin to mediate an inflammatory response in the brain.
Norb Kaminsky, a professor of pharmacology and toxicology at Michigan State, is using this knowledge to explore potential treatment options for HIV patients. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
A contrast dye shortage is causing problems within the health industry. People across the country are having to wait to get things like life-saving CT scans because of it. Bailey Miller has the story from Phoenix.
That concerns me.
Philip DiMarzio is a patient at Banner MD Anderson Cancer Center. He was diagnosed with bladder cancer in 2021 and has been going through bouts of chemo. For him, this dye shortage is on his mind.
Cancer can spread pretty fast. And so if you have to wait on treatment, it's not like a sprained ankle and, hey, we can't do your x-ray because of whatever. It's a little more important.
The contrast dye can be life-saving in many ways. It allows oncologists to use it to track cancerous tumors or conduct CT scans.
A lot of applications you do need IV contrast to better visualize organs, blood vessels, and there are just some applications where you just absolutely need it.
Dr. Alex Bowman says while there is a shortage of one type of dye, forcing many to delay procedures, Banner MD Anderson Cancer Center isn't in the same situation because they use a different kind of fluid.
Some of our contrast material has been kind of allocated throughout the Banner system for these other critical applications.
But as a result, it's also causing doctors to look at different options like blood tests where they can look for residual cancer DNA, and they're able to do this with Signatera. Luckily for Phil, he's able to receive these kinds of procedures, and in the meantime, he's focusing on his fight day by day.
Cancer is my enemy, and, I have to be as proactive as I can be.
A new study being released links extended sitting to early death. A survey of more than 10,000 people in 21 countries shows that people who spent 6 to 8 hours a day sitting had a 12 to 13% increased risk for early death and heart disease. For those who sat over 8 hours a day, that percentage jumped to 20%. Researchers say the issue is especially problematic in low-income and lower-middle-income nations. Yet another reason to switch from soda and sugary drinks to healthier options. Researchers have found a link between high fructose corn syrup and the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. Foods and drinks high in fructose have been linked to obesity and diabetes, two main causes of NAFLD. Estimates show that nearly 1 in 4 American adults have a chronic buildup of fat in the liver, which can cause damage and could become deadly. Let's leave you with a smile. Sunday, of course, the big day for Pops, the old man, dear old Dad. So make Dad a foodie for Father's Day. Applebee's offering a $10 bonus card for each $50 bought. Cracker Barrel has digital bonus cards for Dad on some home cooking. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse has Dad brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Cheesecake Factory is giving you $25 for each $100, or change Dad's routine with a summer outing. Consumers will spend $20 billion by Sunday. 76% of Americans will celebrate the day, that according to the National Retail Federation. That does it for us. I'm Jamie Holmes. Thanks so much for watching.